Fellas, what would you do if you pulled up to a restaurant with your date only for her to turn around and be like, I'm too good for this restaurant? Well, that's exactly what happened to one gentleman here, and you probably already heard this story about the Cheesecake Factory lady, but I got the beginning, the middle, and the ending. We're gonna react to all of it in this video here, so stick around if you wanna watch the entire saga.
Let me just get the door for you.
Okay. He got me at the Cheesecake Factory, y'all. I ain't getting at this phone. Yes.
Would you want me to open the door?
Yo.
You're recording me?
Yeah.
The second I were to see that camera, I would have been like, I'm driving you right back to the crib. Instantly. This is the problem. The problem is guys try to work their way through these scenarios. Like, listen, I understand dating it can be fun, or like, you know, going through those moments where like, I don't know, she tries to pull some shit on you, you might find it slightly entertaining. Bro, it's not. Something like this is, in my personal opinion, is corny. It's corny. The second I see the fucking phone, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you recording me right now? You're on live right now? We're about to go on a date and you're on live? I would have dropped her off immediately.
Yeah. This is the Cheesecake Factory. This is the Cheesecake Factory, y'all.
What's the problem with that?
This is a chain restaurant. Who takes someone that looks like this to a chain restaurant?
You want to talk about it?
Yo, don't you?
Talking about it, even.
Don't you remember the times when twos knew there were twos? And I'm not even trying to be offensive, but like, she's wearing purple lipstick with a green dress. You're too good for Cheesecake Factory? Side note, who doesn't like Cheesecake Factory? My personal opinion, I've been to Cheesecake Factory like, I don't know, like 5, 10 times. But all the times I've been there, it's been great. I've had a great time at Cheesecake Factory. Like, the food is decent, it's not bad. The cheesecake itself is actually really good. So this is why men are leaving Western dating. This is exactly one of the reasons why. And it's a shame, really, because truthfully speaking, there are some pretty women out here that would probably be worth dating. But when you see examples like this in the media and it's perpetuated, like you see it everywhere, I'm part of the issue, right? We're regurgitating said information. It just puts a sour taste in your mouth and it makes men less likely to want to date. But let's continue.
From then?
Oh yeah, I want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Come on, get up, going in the car. Yeah, we're going to talk about it.
Bro, this is wild. This is wild.
Okay. So
yes, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
So you expect a man to go all out on the first date. Is that right?
I mean, you're supposed to. Look at, when you take out a beautiful woman and you're courting her.
Look at this frame, y'all. Look at this frame, y'all. I'm not even trying to roast. Well, I am. But come on. Come on. What world are we living in? This is ridiculous. Like, so I get it. You might think you're pretty enough to be taken to, like, I don't know, Ruth's Chris or, you know, whatever fucking fancy restaurant women like these days. Me personally, I like going to Catch. Not to give away like my location, but I like going to Catch. I don't go there that often, but you know, when times call for it, that's where I go. But like, I wouldn't take her to Catch. Ain't no way. There's absolutely no way. What? First of all, I wouldn't be speaking to her anyway. I feel like this is just one of those down bad situations where, like, you know, it's been a dry spell and you're just trying to, you know, you're trying to get a slump buster. So you're just going for it. And in this case, he's pursuing it, which is kind of unfortunate, but let's continue.
Because I get courted. So you're courting her, right? You're supposed to take care of her. You're supposed to cover her. You're supposed to protect her, cherish her, treat her well, right?
Yeah.
And
I agree. I went into this date as I expect, with the expectations for myself to keep you safe, you know, to respect you, to pay for your food, of course, pick you up, of course, and just treat you like a gentleman. which I believe I have done.
I mean, you've been pretty
and then-
nice, but I mean,
And then
Cheesecake Factory.
I, on the other hand, have certain expectations for a girl I go out with on the first date.
Yeah, like being respectful, showing up on time, not being a fucking pain in the ass. How are you a pain in the ass on the first date? The first date, like right out the gate, you are already a pain in the ass. Make it make sense.
Her to be respectful too. I expect her to be cooperative. And at least, you know,
What did I do that wasn't cooperative?
well, I mean, like, even like when we were walking to the car, you wouldn't put your hand around my arm or anything like that, or hold my hand or anything like that.
I mean, it's too early for that.
Okay,
I
yeah,
don't know.
and I can respect that. I can respect that. When I got to your apartment to pick you up, you didn't want to invite me in. I can respect that too. Just we're not
Again, I
we're
don't
not
know
there.
yet.
Okay. And then, but
I mean, I feel like I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do as a woman. I got myself all made
nothing
up.
wrong with the Cheesecake Factory, right?
Yes, there's a lot wrong with the Cheesecake Factory.
Look at my plan where we were.
What's wrong with Cheesecake Factory? Can somebody in the comments please tell me, like, do you like Cheesecake Factory or no? Because if you don't, I need your explanation below. Who doesn't like Cheesecake Factory? I've never heard someone say that before. It's weird.
Go originally.
See, now that's where we should have went already. Right there. Call him.
No.
What do you mean no?
See, I specifically told you. Both
Oh, yes, he did.
this morning,
Fucking goofy.
I'd pick you up at 4 a.m. At 4 p.m. Right? And I got to your place at 4 p.m. You didn't even come downstairs for another hour, and so I was waiting downstairs.
Bro. So she could even have the decency to show up on time for this guy, let alone complain about going to fucking Cheesecake Factory. What? First of all, I feel bad for this guy because, well, I don't kind of feel bad for this guy because he's the one chasing her, right? But anyway, I feel bad for the fact that he thinks that this is his only option. And this is the problem with a lot of guys, because it's not so much the woman's fault that she's acting the way she acts. I mean, it is, but at the end of the day, you can't really change people, and people don't necessarily want to change unless they have to, right? So the best you can do as the outside, or like as the person that's dealing with said person, is leave. Just set your boundaries and leave. You know, the idea that you think you have to deal with this person's personality or their attitude because they might be the only person that you're going to be folding in half for the next couple of months, it's a farce. Don't believe that shit. Bro, fellow, dude, whatever you want to call yourself, there are tons of women out here. Not saying you have to date them, not saying you have to date in the West, but I'm just saying there are more women on earth than men, so you don't really have to deal with someone else's bullshit. And I just feel like for this guy, waiting an hour to take someone out on a date tells me that he feels like he has no other options. Because me personally, and I could only imagine a bunch of other people too, but obviously men specifically, I can imagine no one's gonna wait longer than like 15, 30 minutes. If I got there and I waited more than 30 minutes, I must really like you. Like, I must really, really like you. The idea that I got there, waited an hour for you to come down late, try to think we're gonna go to the nice restaurant, so we go to the backup plan, and then you complain about the backup plan knowing damn well you were late? Come on, make it make sense.
For an hour.
Right. But I wasn't expecting for work to take me so long. I got home a little late. And like I said, I don't know you well enough to invite you up into my apartment. And that is not possible.
And that's why I'm saying, I'm thinking, okay, if we're not there in the relationship to, you know, meet at your apartment, then maybe we're not ready in a relationship for such a nice fancy restaurant as Aria. Especially if I'm paying for the whole thing. Which I'm still willing to do. I would have been. But if we're late, I mean, I told you twice.
It wasn't that late.
We literally left your place at the time the reservation was supposed to be. And I specifically said 4 because maybe we could get there early and even have some time to get to know each other on the way there and while we're in the parking lot.
I mean,
I'm aiming for a reservation.
we can still get to know each other. Isn't there another restaurant you can call that? Like,
Nope.
You know, equivalent?
I would have dropped her the fuck off right after that. And I'm like, well, you showed up late. You wasted my time. You wasted your time too. And we fucked up the reservation. So I gotta drop you off. I wouldn't even drop her off. I'd just like, figure it out. Get the fuck out of my car. Like, yo, some of y'all are better than me, man. Because I'm not saying I treat women bad. I don't. But like, I'm not gonna sit there, get disrespected, and just take it. Sorry. I'm sorry. And that, obviously, again, that doesn't mean I'm gonna do anything malicious. But if you think I'm gonna drop you off after you wasted my time and you wasted the reservation, no, get the fuck out of here. Are you kidding me?
I mean,
I literally
you don't
said-
understand. Look at me. I cannot go in the Cheesecake Factory.
There's nothing.
Bruh.
That's embarrassing.
Bruh, this is crazy.
I have very specific certain expectations
Oh,
for that.
no.
I can tell it's not gonna be there. And maybe we're not right for each other. So respectfully, I'm gonna just drop you off at home.
Oh, no, he didn't.
Oh, yes, he did. Thank God.
So,
Thank God. Jeez.
You just
And again, I wouldn't even have dropped her off. I would have been like, well, I don't know what your plans are, but I got other shit to do, so you're gonna have to figure this one out. You're gonna have to call an Uber or some shit, because not my problem. But that's just how I feel. I know there are a lot of guys that are much nicer, much more gentleman-like, which is great. If that works for you, then, you know, go for it. But again, from my perspective, this is like one of the ultimate disrespects. Like, I have a hard line on time wasting, and if you're gonna make me wait an hour for you and like not even accommodate, then obviously we're not meant to be. That's just not what I think. Now, we got the update on this. It's like some exclusive interview, but let's go ahead and check that out. Now, this video comes from a guy named Kevin Wesley. I found this on Facebook, but I'm pretty sure he might have like a YouTube or something. So make sure you go ahead and subscribe to his YouTube or just check out his channel. But yeah, we got the update on this, and right away, she looks huge. I don't even mean that offensively. I just mean that comparatively from Kevin Wesley on the left to the guy in the middle. She's like Shaq. from like a square foot, like the mathematical perspective, she's got like the same height equivalent. But anyway, what the fuck am I talking about? Let's play it.
A lot of the girls that I met, as I said, like, they're literally only trying to date to date or to like have I don't know, I'm allowed to use the word fuck buddy.
Yeah, sure. When I saw Jay, I saw someone who was making some excellent points, who knew what he wanted, and he's actually now like a Giga Chad in the manosphere world, in the red pill community. The brother's been mentioned
What was
everywhere
that?
for the way he handled that conversation. Now I'm going to ask Alicia as well, because during this conversation, Alicia,
thank you.
we'll get that right. Okay,
Oh
so
my
Alicia,
God.
you didn't seem to really disagree with what he was saying. Now you had a definitely a different opinion before he gave you his mind, right? But you seemed very receptive to it. Can you explain to me kind of what you were thinking and how you saw him in that video?
Well, yes, I think once we had the conversation, I could see my role in the conflict.
Okay, okay.
You fucking started it. What the fuck are you talking about? She said my role. You literally sparked it. Like, you're the sole reason why this happened. What the fuck? So, I'm sorry, but just so void of like total accountability. It's mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. How did she manage to think of that response, conjure up those words, put it together, and spit that response out? Bro. Wow.
But to be fair, I mean, I was always raised that the man is supposed to cater to you. I mean, you're courting me, so court me. That means wherever I want to go, you take me.
Absolutely.
Whatever I want, you buy me. That's courting.
Look at
You
his
know?
face.
I'm looking for a provider.
Oh my
I was
God.
raised, like we were talking about how she was raised, whereas with
Hold on, just the note on that. Looking for a provider. There's nothing wrong with looking for a provider. In my personal assumption, I think if we are going to go back to the traditional ways of dating and marriage, then obviously the man has to play that role of being a provider. So like, yeah, bro, sometimes you got to come up out your pockets. I'm sorry. That's just the reality of it. Now, when and how you do that is totally dependent on you. Obviously, you shouldn't be leading with your wallet to begin with. But if somewhere down the road within that relationship, you know, you find yourself thinking about doing those things, then, you know, by all means, if it's justifiable, then go for it. But in this case, to say you're looking for a provider, but not even give the guy like the appropriate chance for him to showcase that, if that's what you're looking for and if that's what he wants, is completely insane to me. Like, Cheesecake Factory isn't cheap. It's not expensive, but it's not cheap. So to put him on blast like that, live in front of all these people, already means you don't respect him and you don't care about his capability to provide, at least to the extent that you would like him to. I can imagine he's probably not meeting her like threshold, but that's besides the point. Let's continue.
Me, like my family, like we've passed down the name for ages, and we're a very close knit, strong family.
You passed down your first name, Jay? Like
Yes.
your father's and father's
Yeah.
father? How many generations, probably?
I mean, the thing is, like, I'm from India,
Okay.
you know, and the partition happened where, like, India was separated from Pakistan.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of my family were on both sides of that, and we had to come back together.
So here he is in America, and he's meeting a woman who is in America, and she sees dating the way Americans see dating. And so I can see the clash in that.
Yeah.
You know, he's looking at you as if that's selfish. You're looking at him as if, you know, he's treating you beneath your worth.
Right.
And actually value. So
After the conversation, I could see
How? It's the first time y'all met. What? What the fuck? So you feel like he's not treating you what you're worth, even though this is the first time you two met? Ah, I'm starting to see the problem. And I mean, we could all see the problem. The problem is women want traditional treatment off the bat without being traditional themselves, which obviously is hypocritical in its own standpoint. But just think about that statement. He wasn't treating me like I thought I should be treated. Off rip? Off of meeting you like for the second time? Because I imagine they set up the date because they met the first time before, you know, somewhere, right? But like, damn, second time? That crazy.
how there was a lot of I
okay.
in that exchange. I was definitely very self-centered, and I can appreciate if I do want someone to provide for me. I at least gotta be a little bit nice.
Absolutely. Okay. Here's what I want to do, guys. I want to go back a bit. Can y'all tell me how y'all met? I want you to tell me how you guys met.
So I was in Midtown, and
Okay, great. So now I ask you this. Based on your idea of dating before your conversation with Jay, how did you grow up? Who also thinks that way? I'm sure you have friends who think that way. I've heard it a lot.
I mean,
Okay.
everybody. I mean, that's what he's supposed to be the provider.
Absolutely.
So, you know, and I'm a beautiful woman, so
Bro, I'm so tired of hearing her say this. I'm so tired of hearing her say this. Like, how many times are you gonna play that? That card is worn out. She thinks she looks like she still thinks she looks like she did when she was in her 20s. And she doesn't. Not even close. Not even fucking close. Like, how many times are you gonna say that? And what do you think? Like, men are just gonna automatically go, oh my God, she's beautiful, let me bow down to her. Like, I remember once, back in like 2018, I got into an argument with my ex in like the middle of fucking like 52nd Street in the city. And I forgot what we were arguing about, but I'll never forget what she said to me. She's like, you better treat me right because I look good. And I looked at her, I was like, what does how you look have to do with how I should treat you? Like, who the fuck told you that? I need to know, who the fuck told you that because you look good, you deserve some sort of treatment? That, mind-blowing to me. Mind-blowing. And this is like the delulu that women live in, right? Because they assume that because they look good or how they look, they're supposed to get some certain type of treatment, which reality dictates that's not the case. And the economy is also dictating that's not the case either, but that's another conversation. Let's continue.
I'm expecting to be treated like royalty. I mean, come on. So that's
But
what I was
the
doing.
kicker is, how do we treat him?
She ain't got one royal bloodline in her body.
In
Not
the video,
one.
Now, of course, I'm sure you think of it differently now, but in the video, you basically told him that, you know, you're not going there, you know your value. It would be embarrassing for you to go inside a Cheesecake Factory. A lot of people like Cheesecake Factory.
Oh.
Now, so when I see that video, I'm thinking, okay, she must have some friends who probably would disagree with her going inside the Cheesecake Factory.
I would have never lived that down.
Wow,
I mean,
if they ain't the Cheesecake Factory, they wouldn't let you live that down.
No, I have an image to protect.
Oh my God, bro.
Wow.
This is not.
This is like sickening. I'm so tempted to just skip this part because, man, I am so tired of hearing that shit. I don't know. It just bothers me because, so for me, I do modeling for work, right? And when I model, the women that I run into are drop dead gorgeous. And the reality of it is, some of them are actually pretty chill. Like, you wouldn't hear them say this over and over again, nor would you hear them say, I have an image to protect. But for whatever reason, it always seems like women that are like, no offense, but women that are mid seem to use this look card so many times as though like it actually works. It doesn't fucking work. That's not how this works. I'm gonna make a video about the behavior of mid women versus very attractive women because I think it would be pretty interesting. But again, another conversation for another day. Let's continue.
Do that. Well, I mean, as a black woman, I'm gonna go there. I mean, as a black woman, we're really tired of having to settle. We want to be treated well.
Mm-hmm.
We want that soft life. So that's what I thought I was going after. However, what I understand is a part of having a soft life is being cooperative.
Being soft.
Not being combative.
You're right. Actually being soft.
Right.
Being receptive,
Right.
being sweet,
Absolutely.
being pleasant, right? Because we do understand the value of resources, but it can't be just something for a lifestyle. Resources, a man's resources is not just for a woman's experiences and traveling and the lifestyle they'll live when married is for providing for the family and the children. And that's why she should seek a man and, you know, respect his resources or prioritize his resources, not just for what it can do for her.
Right.
And so when you were in the beginning of it, you was just saying, I'm not doing it. It seemed really selfish.
Can I just say,
Sure.
I love the Cheesecake Factory, and it's a place that I've gone to for like every birthday. So like it wasn't just like a random restaurant to me. It was also like a place that I've gone with my family throughout my entire life.
See?
I was good.
I hope she feels like shit now. I hope that answer or that response makes her feel like absolute shit. And you know why? Because in the world we live in, people take memories and other people's perspective for granted. Because obviously you need more than one person to create a memory. But what if on the way there, he broke that story down to her? Could that not have connected them in a deeper way? I mean, maybe I'm reaching. Let me know in the comments, but God damn it. Like, I don't understand how people can just totally disregard sentimental value, or at the very least, I'll give her some grace because now she's finally learning that it does have some sentimental value. But would it be wrong to assume that maybe she could like ask a question like, oh, why just Cheesecake Factory? You know what I mean? Instead of going on this tirade of having this image to protect, but people are so in what is the word I'm looking for? People are so entrenched. That's a better way to put it. They're so entrenched in the idea that they have this image to protect. They have to look good from other people in their social life. Listen, like a good 80% of the people that you come into contact with do not give a fuck about you. So the idea that somebody would ridicule you because you went to Cheesecake Factory is so stupid. It's not even funny. It's actually rather alarming. Like I'm actually alarmed because if this is one person, I can imagine there's probably like 100,000 people that think this way. Who else thinks this way? We know the answer to that one. Let's continue.
Let's say, when it comes to how we date, I think a lot of it is just the information that we have, right? So what I noticed from yours and Alicia's conversation, Jay, is that you had a different view of altogether of what dating should look like leading up to a relationship, and she had a different view. And now,
like what I should say is, I mean, at the very end of the day, like, I understand dating in America is different from where my family's from, and in a way, like, it's perfectly fine to have those views and to think of dating differently. I just think, for me, I have a very specific criteria, and it's not a long list of criteria, but it's just certain values that I
Sure. Well, I think a lot like you. That's why the video stood out to me. I believe relationships should be harmonic. They should be for a reason. So I believe in dating with intent.
Yeah, you and every fucking guy. We all think that way. Like, who wants to go into a relationship being, ooh, I can't wait to be combative? Hopefully no one. And if you know anyone like that, they need fucking therapy. Or at the very least, I don't know, get them like a coloring book and some crayons.
Right? But many people in our generation today, they see dating as something that's just fun. They don't see it as a way to establish a healthy relationship. And that's what I was going to say. There's almost little to no understanding.
No, I would disagree. Modern dating is... Yeah, I said it. Modern dating is... Most of y'all prostituting yourselves. It is what it is.
As to what dating should look like when you're trying to establish an intent for a meaningful relationship. And I think that's the biggest problem. It's not so much that people are necessarily selfish or entitled. It's more so that they don't know what they're looking for, right?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Oftentimes we think we know, but we really don't.
Shorty is in her mid-30s, still not sure of what she's looking for. I'm supposed to believe this bullshit? Come on, fam.
He asked you a question.
Get the fuck out of here.
Men to go all out on a date, huh? And you said absolutely. If he likes her, he should present that, right?
Yes.
He should lead and be masculine. He should be willing to pay for the meal, show up on time, open doors for her, the whole nine. But when he asked you what is a woman expected to do, you said, look good, be there. And that's where the, right?
Disconnect was,
Absolutely. Because there should be things that a woman should do, right? So if you've thought about that, could you tell me some of what you think now, if he were to ask you that question today?
Sure. If you think about, watching the video, it's like, how do you expect this person to keep giving, and you're not giving anything back?
What you probably take to...
What type of response was that? YouTube won't let me say the shit I really want to say, so I'm not going to say it.
By that, you're just on a date, and all of a sudden now she's recorded.
Her recording me did feel like that's where I felt like she was trying to take advantage.
Right. And I appreciate it, though. When I saw the video myself, that's one of the things I covered is, wow, I've never seen a woman that receptive to being accountable, right? And you were. But Jay, however, didn't want to go out on a date.
Barely.
He wanted to discontinue that date, and he wanted to take it on to the house. Jay, is that your first time stopping a date midway through and going back home, or?
Yeah, something like that's. I'm sorry, at least that's the first time I've really like put my foot down to that kind of extent.
Would you guys be open to another date, knowing what you know now?
I think.
Sorry, y'all. So I'm not exactly sure what happened there. Unfortunately, the shit got cut off. But we do have the third video. We've got the third video. This time it's the woman herself speaking out. Let's go ahead and take a look.
It's been a while, but there have been quite a bit of things on my mind. I believe that many of you have seen the, now viral video about me choosing to reject the Cheesecake Factory because I wanted more from my date. I want to, let me say this. It's interesting to me that just how a moment in time, right, can shape how so many view you.
That's the reality of the internet. You put some shit out on the internet, it's gonna come back, so.
I want to talk about, I'm trying to remember. Bear with me, guys. I wrote down some notes so I can remember everything I want to say. I watched the comments, the shares that you guys, the opinions that you guys had. And I have reflected on all of them, processed all of them, that I was able to read. Many of you have been vocal about how entitled I was, how I misused this man. And I want you to understand that my mission has always been to empower women, for women to feel respected, cared for.
What?
Not be misused.
No. This makes no fucking sense. I'm sorry, this makes no sense. This cannot be your excuse for how you acted on the first date. To not be abused? So Cheesecake Factory is abuse now? What, yo? Oh, Mel. This is the shit that pisses me off, honestly, because I don't get it. I don't get it. How does your brain equate those two things together? Oh, he's taking me to a mediumly priced restaurant, so now all of a sudden he's abusing me? He's taking advantage of me? Where? How? Come on, man.
I've seen and heard many a horror story, men and women, not just women, men and women. And I wanted to make sure that this was a topic that we brought attention to.
What's the topic?
Many of you interpreted within, interpretations that I saw. I want you to understand that this was never about exposing or embarrassing anyone. The purpose was to spark discussion, to foster learning and growth, right?
Who's learning from this? The only thing I've learned is that most of y'all aren't worth dating. And I mean, I've known that already, but this just further proves the point. If anything, you just keep perpetuating the same cycle all men know already. You wanted him as a foodie date. That's it. And on top of that, there's a reason why she took the guy who was the one who was willing to approach her, right? Check out the full video of it. But unfortunately, the one that I showcased it got cut off, and it was kind of like chopped up and edited anyway. But long story short, from what I've learned is that they went to a bar, and then the guy approached her, but apparently like no one else was. Shit, I wonder why. Because you probably gave off asshole energy. Who likes to be around an asshole? Like, I'm gonna take you out on a date, and then all of a sudden you're gonna complain that it's the Cheesecake Factory? Come on, it doesn't make sense.
But I've seen some interesting interpretations. And it has caused me some more questions. There have been some hurtful comments. People wanting to come for my job. It's interesting to me how angry someone can get about something, things that don't directly affect them, to the point where you want to be harmful, right? All while screaming respect. Yeah, thank you for your time. I hope you take this opportunity to come so that we can have some more dialogue. It's all about growing and learning.
So this is just another one of the examples as to why a lot of guys are no longer dating in the West and are seeking to date women elsewhere. And the unfortunate part is, when you look at certain scenarios like this, you would think that it is for a conversation worth on growth and expanding, but more likely than not, everyone's essentially just within their own echo chamber. So there really is no chance for any sort of growth, but it makes for great content, which is obviously one of the reasons why we're here. When a society reaches to the point where they're no longer willing to date the countersex because of minuscule or minute reasons such as this, we're heading into a dangerous part of society. I don't know what chapter this is in the book of America, but the sexless, undateable, not dating, and is just essentially lonely are all just trying to figure out what to do on their own. And then when you have people that are willing to take someone out on a date, the best that they get is a live stream complaining about why they were taken to Cheesecake Factory. So I don't know, my hands are up in the air on this one. I don't think there's any going back. There's really no saving the dating landscape. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your participation. Make sure you share and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.